Hey guys, it's here bringing you an extra video for today. Now, today's extra video is a league discussion, the series that I take a topic, rip it apart with my own opinions and experience, and encourage you guys to join in the conversation in the comments section below. Now, I have not done one of these episodes in quite some time, mainly because we've had nothing to talk about. Things have just been kind of the same for the past few months, or weeks at least. But finally, we have something to talk about. So just to explain, this is not the brand new rank system. It's a possible new rank system that has basically come under the woodworks from a Reddit post that a guy was like, right, sent me a survey asking me what do I think about this. But then also Ghostcrawler, the lead game designer, he was like, yes, we're having a new model next season. So it's kind of confirming that there's going to be a new model. And because this guy had a survey from Riot, it's like, is it going to be this one? And that's what I want to talk about today. Because put it this way, Riot doesn't throw surveys out to people if they haven't thought it through a lot. So what I'll say is both things are linked down in the description. The Reddit post that tells you all about this rank system, and then the Reddit post that shows Ghostcrawler telling people, yes, there is going to be a new rank system. So they'll be down below if you want to look through them yourself. So today's video is just going to be me briefly explaining what the new rank system potentially is going to be and my thoughts on it. Other YouTubers have done it. I'd recommend watching Fi's video. He did one a couple days back. He also explains in detail what they're planning to do. Mine might not go into crazy detail on what they're planning, but I'm going to go into detail about my opinion on it. So that's going to be the difference. So just to explain what's going to happen potentially next season. Again, this is all hypothetical, but Dynamic Q is staying, but to a certain extent. So basically, Season 6 has been a disaster. You know, pretty much everybody can agree to that. You know, if you are somebody that's like, I love Season 6, you are Riot's target audience, but unfortunately, there is a very large audience that still thinks it sucks. And when you're developing a game, as somebody that did a games design degree, you don't want to have pretty much any of the community being really loud in their distaste for your system. And I know some people say, oh, it's just the vocal minority. You don't really want a vocal minority in a video game. You want things to be smooth. And that's the funny thing. From Season 1 to Season 5, there was no real vocal minority about hating how it worked. People just did it. Like, that's the point. The vocal minority has come out hating the rank system with this change. So Riot is obviously trying to kind of appease those people, which I think is a smart thing to do, because we've seen in this group of people, one, a lot of them have quit, and within this group of people, some people say, oh, that's not that important, but a lot of them are YouTubers, a lot of them are streamers, and they're quitting left, right, and center. You know, about, I'm not going to say half, but maybe a quarter of the YouTubers that I kind of know are gone. You know, I know Cury's gone, I know Solar and Ectononi's gone, I know Dark Tongo's going. Like, so many people are just going away. Hopefully with this change, it will bring them back. So basically, to explain. So, at the beginning of next season, Season 7, you will be given a choice if you are a ranked player. Do you want to be part of the solo/duo ladder, or do you want to be part of the dynamic ladder? If you go into the dynamic ladder, nothing has changed. Literally, nothing has changed from Season 6. That's what you have. If you pick solo and duo ladder, you are limited to only playing solo or duo queue. Pretty much what you've had for the past 5 years, apart from Season 6. Now, some people think, oh, that's pretty cool. Now, the weird thing to a lot of people is you can pick these ladders and they will be separate ranked ladders, but you're playing together. You are going to be playing with the same people, which for some people is like, this isn't a fix. Like, you know, you're playing with the same people, whatever. Now, I'll explain why it is a bit of a... It's a bit of a weird thing, but also a good thing. So, most of the complaints from Season 6 ranked season has come from the higher tiers of player. So basically what they're doing for the higher tiers of player to make it competitive again is once you reach Diamond, Dynamic Queue is gone. You cannot Dynamic Queue at all in Diamond. So if you pick the Dynamic Queue ladder and you make your way through the rankings and then eventually you end up in Diamond, I'll explain that a little bit in a minute, but you make your way through Dynamic Queue, get to Diamond, you no longer can rely on Dynamic Queuing in Diamond. You can't do it. So in Diamond, it's only solo and duo. In Master and Challenger, it's only solo. I think this is a really good idea. It brings up the competitive integrity, and people like me who are Diamond, etc., it actually makes it worth playing ranked properly again. Now, a lot of people won't get this point if you're bronze, gold, silver, maybe even platinum. It's not a big deal to you guys, but for someone like me, I like to know that I deserve the rating I get. That's why I like playing solo in solo queue. That's how I've played for the past 6 years. So when you had people say, oh, my account was in Diamond 3. I was in Diamond 3 for a lot longer time in the season. I was in Diamond 3 by getting there myself. There were people in Diamond 1 who only dynamic queued their way there. For some people, you won't see that as an issue. For me, it was an issue. And thankfully, Riot is getting rid of that because all of us in high rating pretty much felt the same way. It's like dynamic queue was easily the best way of getting in high rating, but nobody really wanted to do it unless you just really wanted that rating. Basically, that's how it worked. Is in high rating, it's a stereotype here, but people don't really care about playing with friends. They just care about having good games. But if you wanted to get Challenger, Master, Diamond 1 in the early stages of the season, you'd dynamic queue your way there. Obviously, they changed that, and I would say ranked right now isn't that bad. You know, you don't... In Diamond, I can't really speak for the lower ratings. In Diamond, it's not that bad. But definitely I think this change will help with competitive integrity. Because there'll be some people, trust me, who are Master, who are Diamond 1, who used Dynamic Queue to get there in the beginning of the season, and because they can't Dynamic Queue anymore, they just will only play one game ranked a month. They will just be like, I'm keeping my rank. There'll be so many people like that, I'd imagine. And yeah, they won't be able to do that next season, which is a really good change. So just to explain the point about having 2 separate ladders. So, yes, so solo queue, if you go in, I'm going to get a picture up here. Again, it's all linked down below so you can look at it yourself. So if you pick the solo/duo ladder, it is still going to be bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, challenger. If you pick dynamic queue, there's only going to be 4 ratings, and that is going to be the lowest to highest: copper, iron, steel, titanium. Again, this is hypothetical. They could probably change the names. I don't think they're very good names. I'd probably prefer if they go... I know it's like metals and that, but it would be kind of cool if they go with gems or something instead. Maybe. So yeah, you are... You know, bronze is equivalent to copper. Silver is equivalent to iron. Gold is equivalent to steel. And platinum is equivalent to titanium. Now, basically, a lot of people who love Dynamic Queue made the argument it's not easier, apparently. Basically, Riot has confirmed it is, which is, for someone like me, is a really nice thing for them to do, because basically the way that it works is you Dynamic Queue, as I mentioned, you Dynamic Queue your way up, and then eventually it turns into solo/duo. Now, the thing is, you work your way up to titanium in Dynamic Queue. The highest rating you can get in Dynamic Queue is titanium. You then want to proceed to go to diamond, I guess. Well, you don't go into diamond from titanium. So the highest rating in titanium, you will go to basically platinum 5. You won't even go to diamond 5. You are going from titanium, the highest in dynamic queue, all the way down to platinum 5, and then you have to do it solo duo to actually keep going. So this, to me, is just basically screaming that Riot is going, yes, solo/duo is harder, and you basically... It's a really smart thing to do. So someone that is relying on dynamic queue gets a titanium, then it's like, are they actually a good player or are they just getting carried? Let's put them in platinum so they're not in diamond yet, and let's see if they can continue to climb by themselves or with a duo queue partner, which is really good. So they're not thrown straight into just solo players in a higher rating. They're thrown into a bit of a lower rating, platinum 5, and then they still have to work their way up. This is a really nice change. Now, to overall kind of summarize, because some people love the idea, some people hate the idea. As a high rating player, I love this idea. I think it gives the rank system competitiveness again. It makes it so that I know that I deserve my rating, but then everybody around me deserves their rating. Obviously, I'm not talking about people who get boosted here. Obviously, they're a whole different story. But generally, that's how it's going to be. But then also, it gives people that play the game casually still the opportunity to do dynamic queue. Because you have to remember, the people that love dynamic queue, you guys might be watching now, you know, just by going on statistical and just a law of averages, you're most likely silver or bronze or gold. They are the 3 highest populated ranks in League of Legends. So yeah, law of averages, that's where their main audience is for their rank system. But their rank system is allowing these players to do either, which is perfect. So that just works. Now, just to address the whole thing about you're in the same ladder, I said it months ago. I think in my dynamic queue rant video, or I did a couple rant videos on this topic, some people suggested, why don't they just make 2 different ladders? You can't. Basically because Also, you can't. It's two things. You can't have separate ratings, and you can't let people do both things at the same time. So if you have a ladder that is solo queue and then dynamic queue is going to become useless. Or if you have two ladders that are running parallel, dynamic queue times are going to be ridiculous. It's just not going to work. Even Riot have said if they released both solo queue and dynamic queue in separate entities, you know what's going to happen. Like, dynamic queue is just going to be known as the joke rating, pushed to the side, nobody cares. Which again tells me that Riot is now starting to use the head that they're like, yeah, people don't value dynamic queue rating as a high rating thing. It's not being a dynamic queue player isn't a it's not a good way to judge your skill level. So it's Riot telling us that they know this now, which is great. Where I think at the beginning of the season they were like, no, it should be a good way because League of Legends is a team game. It's a team game, but you built it on the success of solo players for the past 6 years, so that's why it doesn't work. Where with this system is you can still be a dynamic queue player, but you get your own rating. So you get your own kind of worthiness, basically. So it's like, yes, you're a dynamic queue player, but you're titanium. You're the best dynamic queue player that you can be. That's good. Where a solo queue player is like, I'm in platinum. I'm a solo plat player. I'm happy with that. Like, it's different, even though you're playing together. So to me, it works. It's still probably not perfect for a lot of people, but it's a lot better than what we had in Season 6. Because I do think Season 6 was the worst season in League of Legends ever. And I'm not throwing that out of proportion. I've played in every single season. I'm a fairly level-headed guy. And I generally think this is the worst season that there's ever been. I actually prefer Season 1 to this. Which is saying a lot if you played in Season 1. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the rank system. People ask, what am I going to do? Yeah, solo, obviously. I'm genuinely bubbling inside. When I read that post for the first time, I was like, oh my god, please. Like, this is what I've been asking for, is just to bring back competitiveness to League. Because it's boring. Like, I love this game. I built a YouTube channel around this game. I want it to be exciting for me. And Season 6 has really been a low. So, hopefully this will change it. Some people may ask, what could they do as well? To add on to my thoughts, they tried to bring back ranked 5s, which is great. I've played a bit of it myself. It's really fun. But obviously it's got limited time to it. Why don't they just combine the dynamic queue system and the ranked 5 system? Like, that could be something that they could look into. I don't know how that would officially work. Would you have this? Is the dynamic queue ladder then just the team ladder? I'm not sure, but that could be something that they could do, because in theory 5 people together would be better than 3, but if you're 3 people ranking up high as well, that's pretty good going on you. So that could be something, just combine those 2 ladders, because that again could reduce queue times, because then you don't have people queuing solo, dynamic, and then team on the side. Then you'd have people queuing solo, duo, or team dynamic. So that could be something that they could look into as well. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Oh, just to mention as well, some people always talk about rewards. I'm just reading here. Rewards are going to be different. So dynamic queue, your coppers, irons, steel, and titanium, they're going to have different borders and stuff apparently. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I know I'm repeating myself a lot here, but to me, just to summarize, this is Riot. If this system does happen, I know it's a hypothetical, but to me, at least Riot has thought about this system. Obviously, they're sending it out to people. It's Riot steering the game back into the right direction. They're steering the game back into becoming competitive and bringing back the focus of the game being solo, which is how League of Legends became so big. It's that simple. Like, that's what I played League for. It's what a lot of people that played League for. It's why... Again, it's not a great argument, but who are the most famous professionals in League? They're the best solo players in the world. They're not the best team players, they're the best solo players. So this rank system is like, let's bring it back to solo, which you can experiment with your game. I did a game design degree, that's fine, and it's great that they're remedying the failure or dynamic queue, but they're also kind of, tacking it on. As a small prediction, again, I don't want to go too much in the future because this isn't a guaranteed system. Let me just say, if this system does come out, I could see dynamic queue even going away completely in Season 8. I think it's just right going, it's a team game. They're short for people should play in teams. But again, it's not how your game became so big. I don't know why they tried to change it in the first place, but thankfully they are looking into bringing back solo queue, which for me is pretty big. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Share all your stuff down below. I will read every comment. I may not necessarily reply, but I will read. And that's what I kind of enjoy doing with these. So if you are somebody that is like, yes, it's coming back, share that down below. If you are somebody that loves Dynamic Queue, explain why. You know, just go all out. No arguments, though. We don't want a salty environment. We just want nice discussion, because that's what, you know, having a community should be all about. It's having a nice discussion, even if you're on different sides of the war, basically. So thank you very much for watching. Throw a like on it if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.